dance from Iowa City. And right away, it's Johnson drawing contact. And 2 shots for the Virginia star.
The attention defensively will be on Ncaa Johnson. The defense isn't set up, and she attacks it. She's very good at making a read when you make a mistake and making you pay. She's a 3-level scorer, and already kind of catching this Iowa defense sleeping.
Felt like in the win on Saturday against Georgia, in which she had a game-high 28, we really saw those 3 levels of scoring on display.
Yeah, and she can also pass the ball. She led the ACC in assists, so she's going to drive with her head up.
Chit-chat right. They want to see more 3-point attempts from Iowa's best 3-point shooter without Taylor McCabe. They've been without her for about 2 months, of course. One of the program's best 3-point shooters with a season-ending ACL tear. Johnson, step back 3. And a foul on the rebound attempt by Samaya Smith. Battle of the boards will be very interesting today. Virginia led the ACC, of course, in rebound margin. But this is one of the best and biggest fronts they will have taken on all year in Iowa.
Yeah, huge key to the game for Iowa. Boxing out and keeping them off the offensive glass. Possessions is an important battle here.
Inside Hayden. Had 10 early points yesterday and traveled on her first touch of the afternoon.
Decisive, intentional defense from Virginia. 2 big bodies come and send that double right on Hayden. And she actually spins into the defense. And notice the hands up, a point of emphasis. Defend without fouling. Do not swipe down.
Harris Clark with the basketball, a 3-year starter for UVA. Johnson had that ball tipped. It'll stay here with 14 to shoot. Virginia's 21 wins, the most since the 2018 season, which was the last time the Hoos made the big dance. They have exceeded all outside expectations to this point. Smith with 5, dumps it into Amanze, defended well by Stolke, and the Iowa senior corrals. Right inside Hayden, backs it in.
The positioning that Hayden gets, she is so in deep before the pass is even thrown. She works really hard to set that up, and this time going baseline, avoiding the double team. Quick, smart read.
Johnson defended by Feuerbach, an all Big Ten defensive teamer. And she spills her into Chit-Chat Wright, drawing the charge.
That's a really nice heads-up defensive play from Chit-Chat Wright, coming over early and getting that charge. Right now, what Ncaa Johnson is seeing defensively is crowds, waves. Now you're making her think.
Stremlow 3. Iowa was just 1 for 13 from downtown on Saturday in a game in which they felt tight, according to Jan Jensen, the second-year head coach at Iowa, who's been part of 5 runs to the Sweet 16 as an assistant coach. Really wanted her team to come in today with dropped shoulders, relaxed and excited for the moment. Smith, baseline off the side of the backboard, had 23 points in Saturday's win. Deep post feed for Stolke. Here's Stremlow, down to Hayden. This time left-hand rims out. Amanze with a board. And a whistle will go against the sophomore, Ava Hayden.
And that's a tough foul because her presence on the court is more valuable than any type of play she would have made on the ball so far away. Like, she knows her value, and she's got to be smart with the fouls right there. Not a good one.
0 for 3 start from the floor for Virginia. Their lone 2 points at the foul line. Amanze almost lost it. Clark knocks in an open 3. One of 3 Virginia seniors that don't want their careers to end in Iowa City today. Stolke back out, Feuerbach 3, responds. Johnson off the pick. Almanze fighting with Hyden in the low post. Johnson pops and rips it out. Strumlow full head of steam. Rebound Paris Clark, who's playing with pace. Backdoor feed Johnson. Picked by Strumlow. Up ahead, Hyden. Catch and finish. To shoot for Clark. Pushes it into Almanze. Draws the foul. And one. Chance at the three-peat. Virginia team with 21 wins, most since the 2018 season, which was the last time they made the big dance. Playing with some momentum, playing with an underdog mentality against an Iowa team that is young, but experienced in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, this strong, cerebral, and really works for positioning inside, deep in the paint. You really got to do your work early against her.
If you are just joining us on E1, Hyden is on the bench with 2 fouls as we take a look at the Virginia starting lineup brought to you by Capital One. 3 of these 5 players played over 42 minutes in their first round victory against Georgia on Saturday. And the Hoos with a 2-point lead. Feuerbach off the mark with a 3 for an Iowa starting 5 that managed just 1 made triple in their near scare against 15th seed FDU on Saturday. Feels like they're a little bit more settled in this highly competitive matchup against Virginia. Jan Jensen told us she felt some tightness from her Iowa Hawkeyes in a game that was 2 points with 5 minutes to go on Saturday against FDU.
Well, at practice yesterday, Coach Jensen actually sent her Iowa team home 45 minutes left in practice. She ended the practice early and just wanted them to have the rest of the day off. Had told them to get back to the joy, the feeling free, and just enjoying the moment of being here today.
Hannah Stolke, the senior from right here in Iowa. 3-time All-Big Ten recipient, coming off her 8th double-double of the season. Samaya Smith. Entry pass foul on Stolke, trying to get it down to Weimer. And that is the 4th on the Hawkeyes. 1 more Virginia in the bonus.
But you know, we were coming back to what Coach Jensen told us about sending the team home early yesterday. She also told them to write in her gratitude journal. They have a gratitude journal in their playbook, and she wanted them to write 3 things they're grateful for. And just to keep today light, remember the joy, the gratitude, and take away some of the pressure and tightness that they felt in that first round game.
Speaking of pressure, Johnson has felt it from every angle and every Iowa defender to start. Still no points on the floor for Virginia's leading scorer. Meanwhile, Paris Clark has a pair of steals. And back the other way for the Hoos. Smith cannot bank it in. First offensive rebound for Virginia. It's Weimer with the putback despite all of the contact underneath.
I think what sets that up, though, is offense created by defense. Virginia was able to beat the defense down the court before it could set up, and that put Iowa out of position, and they were able to get an offensive rebound.
Journey Houston, freshman floater, no. Stolke offensive board. Chit-chat right, a 3. And Samaya Smith playing in her 13th NCAA tournament game with a rebound. airmailed pass from Johnson.
But I like the energy of it from Kimora Johnson. She's trying to push the pace. I think pace is going to be helpful for Virginia because so far, when Iowa has had a chance to set up their half-court set defense, they've been keeping Virginia in front. They've been frustrating Kimora Johnson a little bit, and they've been boxing out hard.
Johnson's lone 2 points at the free throw line. Chit-chat right with a high archer. And an offensive foul will go against Weimer. And it's back to the Hawkeyes.
Weimer on the handoff gets called on this charge with the screen.
Wright thought about it. Still no threes in the game for Iowa. 15 to shoot. Hawkeyes still playing without Ava Hayden on the bench with 2 fouls. That was partially blocked by Levy. And back the other way. Clark finding Johnson. Levy tries a 3. Feuerbach cross-court pass. Stremlo. Good offensive rebound, Journey Houston. Wright floater. Stokey again. Wright reloads and knocks it in. Deep 2. Double team comes. Houston knocks it loose. 6th turnover on Virginia. Wright lost it. Clark almost stole it. Feuerbach tries a 3. Cleared by Clark. 5 seconds up to Levy. Gonna beat the buzzer. Yes! With the lay-in. And we're tied at 13 at the end of the first quarter in Iowa City. A trip to the Sweet 16 on the line. Only Virginia to a Sweet 16 for the first time since 2000.
Her outfit she's wearing is significant. Ncaa outfit representing her culture and heritage. As a Nigerian, it was important to represent for her culture, she said, on a big stage.
The biggest stage the Who's women's basketball program has been on since 2018. Still no Ava Hayden to start the second quarter. Picked up 2 early fouls in the first. Stokey, extra pass, and Journey Houston beats the horn.
And right now, you're seeing Gabby White bringing the ball up. It pushes Kimora Johnson off, maybe taking a little bit of pressure off of her. She's got 4 of the team's 6 turnovers, 0 for 3 in this game as Kimora Johnson to start. It's been very tough defense against her.
Levy, floater no, last touch by Virginia. It'll be Iowa ball. How can the Who's get Kimora Johnson going? Remember, this is a young lady that was second in the ACC in scoring this year, nearly 20 a game.
Well, you've already seen one adjustment, bringing Gabby White in off the bench and to allow her to push Kimora Johnson off the ball and maybe use her more as just a scorer, not having to set everything up and have the ball dribbling in her hands the whole time.
Chit-chat Wright likes the ball in her hands. And Journey Houston has another putback for Iowa.
High impact minutes for Journey Houston in the paint in deep against the big size of Virginia. Come in the game and be ready to execute your assignment.
Johnson left open. Long with the three. Weimer offensive board and the putback. Had a double-double in their first 4 victory against Arizona State on Thursday. Zip pass, Houston, in and out. Almost tapped back in, Amanze clears. Gabby White, the freshman for Virginia, running the point. Her mother on the coaching staff in North Carolina gives it to Levy. Weimer, offensive board.
Well, right now you're seeing Iowa has now shifted into a zone defense. It's allowing Kamora Johnson not to have quite as much physical ball pressure on her, and it's also hard to rebound out of a zone defense. And now you're seeing Virginia start to get on the offensive glass.
Here's Chit-Chat right. Back out Strenlow, Feuerbach. Still no threes from Feuerbach, and just 1 in the game for Iowa. Weimer knocks down a baseline 2.
So far, Virginia has found success and a little bit of poise now against the zone switch-up defensively from Iowa.
Which is something the Iowa Hawkeyes have rarely run defensively this year in the Big Ten. Wright responds with a 2.
Yeah, Iowa.
Chet Wright with 6 early points.
Iowa normally runs their player-to-player defense. They were working on it in practice yesterday. They were trying to figure out some different ways to be disruptive, but it's tough to learn a defense quickly, and it's also, again, really hard to rebound out of a zone sometimes, and that's one thing Virginia does very well.
Travel on the Hoos, their 7th turnover. And now Ava Hayden will come back onto the floor for the first time since midway through the first.
Tabitha Amanze dribbling into traffic. Not a great decision. For the big girl right there. Might want to pass it out and then set up her seal or set up her movement behind the zone.
Hayden battling with Amanze in the post. Now will come up to set a screen. Stolke draws a bump from Amanze. That's her first. Affectionately known as Coach Mox, has this program back in the big dance for the first time since 2018, though she is no stranger. Twice took Missouri State to the big dance. Would have been 3 times had it not been for COVID, including a trip to the Sweet 16. Zipped into Hayden, the double comes, and that is the 2nd foul on Caitlin Weimer. Foul trouble was an issue for Virginia in their first round victory against Georgia. Had 2 post players foul out in that game that went overtime.
You've really got to work on doing your work early. You want to get the right angles defensively. A huge key to the game for Virginia is defending without fouling. And Ava Hayden puts pressure on you with how deep she likes to get.
For the 6th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. Hayden drills them both. Coming off a career-high 29 points in the victory over 15-seed FDU, a 1-point Iowa lead. Amanze rips it over the top of Hayden, tapped out by Samaya Smith, and there was a whistle in there. And it will go against Smith, and that's number 2 on the LSU transfer. Now she has to come right back out after just checking back in. And a dang ring. The sophomore will come in her spot.
She's just jumping right over the head of Feuerbach. A little bit out of control right there. And again, just understanding your value on the court versus unforced errors like that.
Remember, Samaya Smith had a huge game against Georgia, 23 points. 2-on-2. If White pushes, does. And a jump ball is called, and it'll stay with Virginia.
Chat Wright has had an incredible start to this game. Defensively getting back, being disruptive. Offensively coming out and being aggressive and assertive for her shot. The ball was brought down to where Chat could get it, and she mucked up the play. She is someone that the entire team is asking for more from because they know she has a lot to give.
We were at the Iowa practice yesterday. Jan Jensen stopped it, looked right at Chit Chat and said, I need NCAA tournament Chit Chat. Who else is with me? And the rest of the team echoed that sentiment.
She said, who's tired of passive Chit Chat? Who wants to see kick butt Chit Chat? And the whole team started clapping and screaming, you know, and it's good for a player to know your teammates believe in you.
Here she comes with the basketball, the first-year transfer from Georgia Tech, where she came off the bench on a run to the NCAA tournament. This year, the starting point guard, and she turned it over. A one-point game in Iowa City. 4:26 to go in the opening half. Iowa with a slight edge.
Player in Kimora Johnson hasn't found it yet. They've been getting other contributions in the roster, and that's key.
And for Virginia, they're two starting bigs. Amanze and Smith on the bench with 2 fouls. Meanwhile, Iowa's star post player is in with 2. And now they have checked Amanze back in for Virginia.
Well, coming off the bench for Virginia, speaking of bigs, Caitlin Weimer has been excellent for them. 4 for 4 off the bench.
Here's Amanze. Just checked back in with those 2 fouls and knocks down the baseline jumper against the zone.
I like the way Amanze has started this game. She only has 1 foul. That was key for her. She's had a lot of foul trouble in the 2 games they've played so far.
Yes, I beg your pardon. It's Weimer on the bench with 2, Smith on the bench with 2, and Amanze playing with 1.
And right there, she did it again. Defense against Hayden, who's trying to get deep position. But look, she turns into a double team that's 6'3", 6'4", and up. That's a big double down there. Watch the 2 bigs for Virginia. This is a team that's #1 in the nation for shot blocking. They said, forget the block. We don't want you to foul. Go hands up, wall up. And that's exactly it.
Knocks down a 3. A rare triple for a 27% three-point shooter and a 4-point lead for Virginia. Stolke through the double team. Wild shot, got her own miss. Shot clock did not reset. Stremlo 3. Ball still jarred around, and Journey Houston has been a spark plug off the bench for Iowa.
I'm seeing a lot of concentration from Virginia, though, defensively. They are working to wall up, defend, trap on the post, and keep their hands high without fouling. They've been able to muck up a few plays now and get deflections.
Almost a 5-second count. That was raked out of bounds by Ring.
Ring's had good minutes off the bench. She's come into the game, understood the assignment. I'm going to double hard. I'm keeping my hands straight up. I'm boxing out, and I'm trying to get the rebound.
Played 8 minutes against Georgia because of the foul troubles. The most minutes she had played since mid-February.
She's 6'5". Like, her length makes a difference in the paint. And especially when she's the person coming to double, it's huge.
Houston back out right 3. There's been a lid on the rim from deep for Iowa. They're now 1 for 12. Ring again. Stolke doubled, looking for a backdoor cut, instead was fouled, and Coach Mox doesn't like the call.
That was the first time I saw Ncaa be undisciplined, swiping down at the ball. The talking points at practice were hands straight up, and she gets called on the foul.
Well, Virginia has already bucked one trend in this tournament by winning their first round game. Just the second team out of the first four in the history of this tournament to win their second NCAA game. Now trying to be the higher seed in the first to win in the second round of this tournament. Good rebound by Ncaa.
Ncaa and Ring have been incredible in the paint. The two of them reading, talking, communicating, and coming over quick. Either one on the double. It's been really great and buying in. And right now, this Virginia program, a very legacied one, is building it back up and trying to get back there.
Virginia has been to 12 Sweet 16s as a program, 3 Final Fours, featuring, of course, the great Dawn Staley and so many others that brought this program to national prominence.
And actually head coach Debbie Ryan of those Final Four teams, she's here. She's been with the team. She's at practice with them, supporting them, and also a big advocate for Coach Mox.
Bierbach gets it out of traffic, flipped up right. Iowa needing a bucket here. Gone 4 minutes without a field goal. They go inside to Hayden. Left hand won't go, and the rebound cleared by Ring.
This is a tough challenge for Ava Hayden, the sophomore. There's so much different types, diversity of size for Virginia. And right now, Ncaa is very physical and strong, matching what Hayden can bring.
Ring into Ncaa. Hayden well defending. Still just the 1-3 for this Iowa team. Right in the paint, and the floater is good, and that stops a 5-minute scoring drought for the Hawkeyes. And now the shot clock turned off for Virginia to close the first half. Johnson with 5. Johnson with 3. Tipped by Stremlo. Great defense by the Hawkeyes to close the first half.
It's two. Like, they're really able to crowd her.
And a whistle on Tabitha Ncaa. That's number 2. So now 3 Virginia bigs with 2 fouls. They really clamped down on Hayden. Of course, she didn't play much in the first quarter. Picked up 2 quick fouls. 3-point shooting still well below the standard for Iowa. Like we saw yesterday, they were 1 for 13 against FDU. 1 for 12 in the first half. And Levy has a pick 6.
Those are the types of blue-collar, extra effort, hustle plays that Romy Levy brings to this team and is absolutely and has been an X-factor in this tournament for Virginia.
That 14 points, 5 steals, and lockdown second half D against Georgia. Chip chat right. Just the second 3 in the game for Iowa. Johnson, backdoor Levy, goes baseline. Clark inside to Ncaa, and there was a travel, but boy, a lot of contact in there on the initial pass. Coach Mox can't believe it.
I am just as confused. It looks like Ava Hayden is pushing backwards on Tabitha Ncaa. I was expecting to see a foul call, but that call is crucial because it brings Ncaa to the bench. She's been terrific with her strength and concentration against Ava Hayden.
Deep post catch for Hayden. Stolke got it back. Stremlo 3. Stolke again, the offensive board.
And I can say that'll compare to actually feeling what this experience is.
She has played over 3,000 minutes in her career and has a steal of Samaya Smith. Good backdoor feed, Stremlo extra pass, Hayden knocks it down, tied at 30. Johnson floater, no. And cleared away by Stolke, who had a season-high 16 boards in the win against 15-seed FDU on Saturday. It was a game dominated by Iowa's posts because of the size discrepancy. And Jan Jensen told us, you know, even though we felt the tension, we ended up weathering the storm. I was really proud of my ladies for that on the precipice of a potential historic upset. Stolke again, a menace on the boards, throws it away back to Virginia.
And you'll notice Iowa has come back out here in a player-to-player defense. They've gotten out of that zone, and it's Kylie Feuerbach, who is known for her defense. She's got the assignment of Kimora Johnson. She is determined. She's got a great motor defensively, and she's long. She's 6 foot versus Kimora Johnson's 5'7".
Johnson with 8 first-half points, had a couple of threes and 2 made free throws. Here's Ncaa. Feeds to Clark, who has been uber consistent as a 3-year starter for Virginia.
Ncaa avoids the charge here, but it's Paris Clark who doesn't just watch the play. You can't stand and watch. You've got to continue to move without the ball. And the defense was sleeping. She got right to the heart of the paint for a jumper.
She has scored in double figures in 3 of the last 6 games. Has had very impactful minutes throughout this NCAA tournament run, featuring 2 wins, one over ASU and one over Georgia. 5 to shoot for Feuerbach. Now Stremlo with 2. Knocks down 3. Johnson hoist. And the rebound, Stolke. Well, that is a tough matchup for Johnson against Kylie Feuerbach, known for her defense on the All-Big Ten defensive team. Counting in the foul for Hayden.
Hayden able to make a quick, decisive move towards the rim. Before any double team can come, she goes baseline. It's also the position that she's able to set up inside. Right there, catches the D sleeping.
A 13-2 Iowa run, and now this crowd of 14,300 plus on their feet. Levy slips inside. Weimer just missing out on a 3-point play opportunity. Will get 2 shots.
Weimer is a player who has had so many injuries in her career. It almost kept her from playing basketball, but she kept fighting back. She's not quite as mobile and athletic as she used to be, but she's super fundamental and very efficient near the rim.
Well, coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For tournament games and networks, go to ncaa.com. Iowa men's basketball reaching the Sweet 16 for the first time since 1999 after knocking off Florida last night. Here's Stokey. Left hand somehow double clutched and put it down. Clark picked by Chit-Chat Wright. Stremlo zips, Hiding rolls it in.
Run, Ava, run. Now it's a couple times we've seen in this game where Ava Hiding at 6'5" will run her tail down that court. It was a foot race to the box. She got down to the block in deep position and put Tabitha Amanze in foul trouble again. It's the hustle that busts her tail to get down there. Whoa.
Amanze will go to the bench with 4 fouls. Ava Hiding, such a tough assignment. First team All-Big Ten as a sophomore, honorable mention All-American. Has 11 points. Kimora Johnson has been quiet for the Hoos, picked by Feuerbach. And a late whistle.
Defense. It's that Iowa defense right now.
Jensen said the younger players, and there are a lot of them, look up to her. Not only defensively, Virginia on the wrong end of a 6-0 run. And Samaya Smith ends that with her championship experience from LSU a couple of years ago. Now defending Stokey in the post. Kick ball on Johnson. These are the first points of the day for Samaya Smith.
These are huge baskets for Samaya Smith. The defense has been leaving her in this tournament, and when she just steps into it without overthinking, she's been huge in knocking it down and burning them for that space.
Coming off a double-double in the overtime win against Georgia, had 23 points, 11 boards. Went to 3 Elite Eights with the LSU Tigers. Trying to extend the Hoos season today. Taps it around and corrals the defensive board, and now Johnson off to the races. Brianna Hurd checking in for the first minutes, and a whistle on Iowa. Travel on Samaya Smith. Hawkeyes have made 4 of their last 5 field goals after shooting just 28%. The first half. Stokey, good bounce pass, Hiding left it short with a left hand. The ACC's second leading scorer, Kimora Johnson, still in search of her first second half field goal. Gets it back with 10. Kick to the corner, Hurd. Fighting for her own miss, and Stokey coming away with it, as she's done so much in this tournament. Back-to-back games with at least 10 rebounds. And it'll stay here. Last touch by Virginia. 21 to shoot for Iowa.
Ava Hiding keeps trying to establish that deep position, but she is going up against very strong, big, tall posts for Virginia, and it's been a struggle for her to find the rhythm.
Jan Jensen told us, we faced really good post teams in the Big Ten this year, but none as deep or as versatile, as you mentioned, Roz, as this Hoos team. Stokey draws a foul.
Samaya Smith came down with her hands. In the second half, I haven't seen quite as much discipline and concentration on the game plan of defending without fouling. That is a blatant bringing down of your hands, Samaya Smith. The talking points in practice for Virginia was wall up, hands straight up. Virginia's the #1 team in the nation for shot blocks. Coach Mock said, forget the block. Defend without fouling. It is really tough against this Iowa team that just draws so many fouls.
How much do you think fatigue plays a role in that now for Virginia? They've played in back-to-back uber physical, down-to-the-wire games, including an OT game on Saturday.
I think fatigue is a real thing. I also think rhythm comes from playing all these games. Confidence as well for a team that hasn't been to the tournament in 8 years. And we even asked Coach Mox about that at practice yesterday, and she said, I told my team, there's no time to be tired in March. There's no time for it. We can be tired mid-April, baby. Let's go.
Kamora Johnson has felt the pressure all day from this Iowa defense. Tries a deep three and hits it over the top of Chit-Chat Wright, her third.
Well, Chit-Chat Wright is a much smaller defender than Kylie was, and that's a difference, an ability for Kamora Johnson to get comfortable there and get a rhythm dribble into that shot.
Double on Hyden by Stremlow, and that's a double dribble.
Technically, Chit-Chat Wright is there, but it's vision that suddenly Kamora Johnson has, because Chit-Chat is 5'4", and Feuerbach was 6 foot on her defensively.
She now has 98 threes this year. That's a program record. Levy, kick. Hurd off the bounce. Weimer. Hyden fighting for positioning deep on Weimer. It's gotten deeper as the game has gone along. Hyden finding that low block touch. And the sophomore was 16 to lead all scores. Ring zips it down. Hyden through contact. It was last touched by Iowa.
First of all, one of the things that Hyden does is her motor running down the court. What helps her get position is that she beats you to the spot, and then she's using her body and strength to stay low and keep sealing to create the angle for that pass. There's nothing lazy about this big girl's game.
Johnson short. A lot of one-and-done trips for a team that led the ACC in offensive rebounding for much of the year. Average right around 14 per game. Today they just have 3. Big to big. Hyden goes left, has 18.
Patience from Iowa. The first pass from the wing wasn't there, so they swing to the top to go high-low.
And Weimer draws a foul on Hyden. That's number 3. Picked up 2 quick ones in the first quarter. That's her first of the second half.
The pass wasn't there from the wing. There was a front. So Ava Hyden directs them to get it to the top, where they're great high-low action from Hannah Stuelke to Ava Hyden. It's patience in the offense. It's also the big girl understanding the angles and directing traffic for where she wants it.
With Hyden out, Johnson goes into the paint. Fade away. Cannot bank it down, and Feuerbach toughly wins that rebound. Shot clock turned off. Right pitch. Houston, Stolke, yes! To beat the horn and give the Hawkeyes their largest lead of the game. As side, Hyden with 18. Re-entry, felt the double. Patiently goes to the right hand, and the hook shot is good. A 20-point performance for the All-Big Ten sophomore. Paris Clark cradles, goes up with it, and rims it out. And then crashes in, and a foul on Paris Clark, her first.
And you watch Ava Hyden clearing the space for the guards to go and get that ball. Everybody hustling in.
The offense has come with great difficulty, it feels, Roz, in the second half for Virginia.
Well, the hard part of it is so much of good things for Virginia have to start with Kamora Johnson. She just really hasn't been able to find a great rhythm in this game.
Just 3 points in the second half on 1 of 5 shooting. Got a game-high 28 in the win over Georgia on Saturday. Stremlo, 3.
You've got to credit the defense of Iowa.
Johnson, step-back triple. And Hannah Stolke with her 12th rebound of the day. Chit-chat, Hyden, yes! Paris Clark, catch and shoot, rims it down to momentarily silence this crowd of 15,000. Stolke had it picked off. A dang ring giving the Hoos good minutes off the bench due to the foul trouble in the front court. Clark, back-to-back threes.
Paris Clark, her hustle, her tenacity on defense and offensively now, getting the shot. She has been single-handedly trying to spark this Virginia team right now.
And she forces an Iowa timeout. 6-10 to shoot. Stolke trying to find Hyden. It's going the other way.
What's really impressive, too, for Ava Hyden, this is a sophomore. Like, this is a player who last season averaged 10 minutes a game. She's up almost 13 points per game from last season. This was a breakout year. And the way she is handling all of these different defensive coverages from players 6'4", 6'5", it's been impressive.
Clark, fadeaway, has made 3 buckets in a row and has a solo 8-0 run for Virginia. Now down 1. Defending Chit-Chat right. Different look in Paris Clark's eyes over the last 2 minutes. Hyden kicks, Stremlo 3. And the rebound of Monze playing with 4 fouls. Johnson head up. Gets it to the hot hand. Clark to a curling Levy. Banks it in and out. Chit-Chat right. Yes, sir. From downtown. $14 points for Chit-Chat right. Ring steps back. Long with the 3. Levy tracks it down. Shot clock did not reset. Clark tries. And Hyden corrals the rebound. Hawkeyes seeking their third trip to the Sweet 16 in the last 4 years. Virginia has not been there since 2000. They have been the darlings of the dance to this point, the last remaining double-digit seed. Picked off by Stremlow. 4-point game under 5 minutes to play. Stolke back out. Wright saved it. Picked by Johnson. Boy, that was great transition defense by Feuerbach. Ring, dead away three. And a timeout taken by Iowa. Chit-Chat Wright limping off a little bit. She has been huge in this game. 14 points, 5 rebounds. Iowa with 1 timeout remaining. Winner of our matchup here will get TCU in the Sweet 16. Meanwhile, Oklahoma punched its ticket already and now awaits the winner of South Carolina and USC. Many folks would love to see a Iowa-South Carolina rematch dating back to the Caitlin Clark years. Chit-Chat Wright, the sophomore, trying to propel them there.
Chit-Chat is unrecognizable from that first-round game, where Coach Jan Jensen said post-game, I was running plays to her and she wouldn't take the shot. And in this game, she has come out assertive, aggressive, confident. Often she likes to defer, but here she's been taking her shot, which everyone's encouraging her to do. And defensively also making plays. She's just fully in rhythm.
Stolke in rhythm. Off the window. 3-time All-Big Ten senior trying to will Iowa to the next weekend of the big dance. Levy catch and shoot. Short with the 3. Rebound Clark and a fresh 20. Johnson through the double, as she has seen all day. Draws contact and a foul on Iowa, just their first. And the second on Feuerbach.
Kamora Johnson has been under duress since the first 4 games. You know, there might be fatigue setting in too. The fact that she has literally seen the biggest, strongest defenders and crowds since the start of this tournament play here in Iowa City.
And played 45 minutes on Saturday in the OT win. Just 3 points in the second half for Johnson. Levy left open. Cans a 3.
What a penetrating pitch from Kamora Johnson. Under duress, 3 defenders converge. She finds Levy for 3.
Right back into the game after receiving the Theragun and a snack on the Iowa sideline. 3 minutes to play in Iowa City. And a kick ball. Boy, you couldn't hear the whistles in here. It'll stay with Iowa.
Kamora Johnson off the bounce with her head up. 3 defenders converge. And she is able to kick it out to a wide open Romy Levy, ready to make that play.
Another double-digit scoring performance for Romy Levy. At 14 in the win against Georgia on Saturday. Hayden off the back iron. Last touch by the Hoos. It'll stay here. Fresh 20 underneath for the Hawkeyes.
There's a number of plays where Hayden is recognizing she's one-on-one and she's going straight up when that happens.
Stremlow calling out the offense. Lob pass picked off by Ncaa. Heady play with 4 fouls.
Well, the defense was there.
Johnson 3 for the tie. Bang! 57 apiece.
With her hustle and heart on display.
13 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, and a steal for the senior from the Bronx. Wright with 10 to shoot. Off the bounce. Wright off balance. Smith tracks it down, falls, and draws a foul on Iowa. Each team with a timeout left. Johnson with the basketball. Hounded by Feuerbach. 10 to shoot. Johnson kicks. Smith lost it. Picked up by Hayden. A timeout left for Iowa if they want it. Shot clock turned off. And the timeout comes from Jan Jensen with 9.8 remaining.
Game out of it.
They did add 0.6 of a second back to the game clock after going to the monitor. So it'll be Iowa basketball, side out, no timeouts left for the Hawkeyes, 1 for Virginia.
Look at the leadership.
Johnson.
Yapper in that huddle, letting everybody know what's going on, what's happening. This is a very confident leader in general for them.
Top of your screen there, you can see Jan Jensen calling for timeout. They whistled for it at 10.4. And so Kylie Feuerbach, who's been part of a couple of Final Four runs, will take it out for the Hawkeyes. Winner to the Sweet 16. 10 seconds to go. Wright with 5. Wright with 3. Wright for the win! And we're going to overtime at Iowa City. Since 2000. Inside to Hayden, and a deep post touch results in 2, a game-high 24. Lob into Ncaa, lost it, and it traveled. Agugua Hamilton, what a historic run for the Virginia Cavaliers through this tournament. Just a couple of days ago, became just the second First Four team ever to win their first round game. Hoping her team has just a little bit juice left to take down the 2 seed. Last 10 seed remaining. Hayden knows. Stokey draws a foul and will go to the line for 2 shots. And Ncaa may have just fouled out.
One thing I am seeing Virginia having gone away from is double teaming against Ava Hayden. And I think a lot of that has to do with the foul trouble that their posts are in. They can no longer attack that because they've been coming down and fouling her. So Ava's looked very comfortable against one-on-one defensive coverage. She's been able to get in deep and been able to size up and get her shot off.
Tabitha Ncaa, huge. Unobserved elbow to the nose, sending Ncaa to the floor. First 2 shots for Stokey. Rims out the first. What a huge call here. Not only gives Stokey 3 fouls, but it gives Virginia 2 shots at the line. A chance to tie the game after a pair of misses by Stokey. This was the play that got upgraded to a flagrant one. Johnson, a top 5 free throw shooter in the ACC, knocks down the first. Tied at 59. This was the elbow on closer observation. This officiating crew deciding to upgrade it to a flagrant one. We're tied at 59, and Virginia gets the ball. Under 4 minutes to go in OT.
That should have been momentum Iowa. Amanze fouls out, and you've got the ball under the rim, and now Virginia ties it up and got the ball back. I mean, what a shift and everything that happened out of that sequence.
And that long layoff, too, of play sort of took the juice out of the building a little bit. Stokey finds Hayden short. And now Johnson with the basketball. Team high 16 points for the number 2 scorer in the ACC behind Hannah Hidalgo. If you're looking for that Notre Dame game, by the way, they're playing Ohio State over on ESPN2. We'll get you there at the conclusion of our game. Meanwhile, another whistle on Iowa. And that is the 3rd on Kylie Fierbach.
And right now, overzealous on the screen. Ends up getting called on the foul.
4 team fouls on Iowa. 1 more Virginia in the bonus. Winner to the Sweet 16. 3 minutes to go. Weimer trying to get it to Clark. Hounded by Chit-Chat Wright. 5 seconds. Clark, shimmy, turnaround, buries it. 15 points for the senior.
Paris Clark has been the difference. She has filled the gap for Virginia.
Fierbach almost picked by Johnson. She wants a review here. Rolling on the floor, last touch by Virginia.
A lot of confidence in this play because Kamora Johnson is being face guarded by Fierbach. So Paris Clark decides, I've got to take this shot, and she's got a height advantage on Chit-Chat Wright to get that shot off.
Coaching staff could not quite look at the iPad quickly enough for Coach Mox to make the challenge. Results in a miss anyway for Iowa. Back the other way, it's Johnson. And she resets with 20 to shoot. Turning the corner on Fierbach. Floater, banks it down. Kamora Johnson with 18 to lead all Hoos. Hayden left her defender on the floor. Weimer wanted a whistle. Easiest 2 that Hayden's gotten all weekend. 26 for the sophomore. Johnson into the chest of Fierbach, blocked, got it on the seat of her pants, scooped by Stremlow. Up ahead, Fierbach, 3-on-2, bounce pass, Stokey, yes! Tied at 63. Timeout, Virginia.
The defense goes down. Hayden is wide open inside. This is Mike and Drill, makes the layup. But check out the defense from Fierbach. To the spot, she beats her. And then with the athleticism for the block, creating offense out of defense, and then on the run, the heads up pass to split the defense. Hannah Stokey with the finish. Fierbach has been incredible in this game defensively with her tenacity, all these blue-collar effort plays. She told me that was her role in this game, to make a blue-collar play. That's how she can impact it. She's been doing exactly that.
7 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal, and excellent defense on one of the top scorers in the country in Kimora Johnson. Iowa has been here so often. Feuerbach part of a couple of those deep runs in March. This is a younger team, though, than they've had in recent years, and for Virginia, trying to keep the magical run alive. One timeout left for both teams, and an offensive foul. Back to the Hawkeyes.
A couple of unforced errors here for Virginia now on offense. Concentration. Got to lock in. Weimer trying to set the screen here. Ref's going to say it's not set. But it also, Feuerbach makes it hard on them because she's just moving. You know, it's hard to set a screen on someone who is so active.
60 seconds to go, tied at 63. Virginia with fouls to give. Feuerbach. And a chance to give Iowa the lead. Stolke goes down, remains down. Numbers for Virginia. Smith, kick out, Levy for the lead. Stolke runs back down the floor, hobbled for the rebound.
From the floor to the rebound. Now that is senior leadership.
4-second dip. And they will send Wright to the line.
Now, Ncaa Wright is a great free throw shooter, and she has played admirably throughout this game. But you'll remember at the end of regulation, a little bit of indecisiveness from her. And then now in overtime, been a little bit quiet. So every time she steps to the line, the moment is really big for a sophomore who's in a completely new role of a lot more responsibility here since transferring to Iowa.
Even if Wright makes both, it's still a one-possession game, and Virginia can advance the ball with a timeout. Both teams in the bonus. No timeouts left for Iowa. You have to box out if there's a miss here. Wright makes it, and Mox calls the timeout. So, the Cavaliers will get the ball across half court with 18.5. That is plenty of time for Coach Mox's team to run pretty much any